Chris Martin from Daiwa has already given us the lowdown on several of their specialty rods. Their surf travel rod, their musky travel rod, their other saltwater travel rods. But now we're kind of going back to basics. To before Hannah and I were even writing about travel rods, back in 2016, we went to Africa, to Zambia in particular, to fish for tigerfish. And our friend Ray Kawabata loaned us several of the Ardito travel rods. And I see, Chris, you now have the latest iteration of that travel rod.
Yeah, we do. So this is the Ardito TR travel rod models. So these rods are designed out of the most sought after lengths, powers, actions that we see in our traditional single piece rods. So we have a 7-foot medium and medium heavy in the casting series, as well as spinning rods as well. They're all 3-piece connections and a phenomenal rod for, like you said, multiple different travel situations. Inshore, freshwater, they can handle it all.
Our guys going to Mexico obviously would love these. Our guys going to Lake of the Woods in Canada for pike and smallmouths would love these. What do you do to make sure that it's a durable rod that performs like a one-piece?
Yeah, so the initial construction of these rods is what makes them so durable and so applicable to different species. So we start with our HVF graphite construction of the blank itself. That's a graphite that you would typically see in some of our more popular Tatula bass rods, some of the more higher end rods. We've taken that material and transformed it into a multi-connection travel rod. So again, that's the HVF graphite high volume fiber. So a lot of graphite, very little resin between those graphite strands. That makes it very sensitive, but also very lightweight. On top of that, to make it even more durable, we've talked about the V-flex or V-joint connections that we saw on the Ardito musky rods. The same technology is built in, even though it is a slimmer blank on these rods. So that V-joint is that flexible joint between the connections. Now, this rod is a 3-piece rod, so you've got 2 different connection points where that V-flex is happening on the rod. And like I said, that's that flexible joint. That's what allows us to construct a rod that doesn't have any of those flat spots at those connection points. Those flat spots serve as a weak link, a pressure point where breakages can happen. So by making that joint more flexible, you're able to distribute the load while you're fighting a fish more evenly, and therefore you don't have those weak points where breakages can happen. On top of that, you get a rod that feels more like a 1-piece rod as opposed to a 3-piece travel rod. On top of that, with the reel seat reinforced with a really nice diamond pattern top part on the locking nut, allows you to really get a good reel attached to that rod without issues.
Now, when I'm traveling with this rod, whether it's to Mexico or Canada or to Venice, what do I need to do to make sure I get optimal performance and durability without compromising any aspect of it?
Absolutely, yeah. You certainly want to take care of these rods. Whether you're fishing in freshwater or saltwater, do rinse it off with fresh water after you're done fishing for the day. Every time, or as much as you possibly can. Some places you're not going to have that access to fresh water all the time. Totally get that, but do what you can to keep the rod and keep the guides clean. After that, if you have the option, bring it into an air-controlled environment where you can get that moisture off of the rod. That'll make it a lot easier to disassemble the 3 sections. Once you're done disassembling, they do come with, at purchase, a really nice travel case. It's a hard shell travel case. Internal to that is a series of sleeves that each section fits inside of. So you don't have any compromise to the rod sections hitting each other or causing damage during travel.
Once again, it's great to see that Daiwa is upping the game on travel rods, yet still keeps track of us guys who need something that's more standard, more typical, more all around.
Right.
And this is an incredible rod, as we've experienced.